Good afternoon, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. Today we're at property address 9845 Southwest Serena Way here in Tigard. We are located, I describe everything as if you're standing in the street facing the front of the house. So we are just to the right of the doorway. This is one you'll want to take note of because it's a trickier to clean out to hunt down. So there's your front door. This clean out, about 3/4 of it sits underneath the pavers. You can see the pavers here. Luckily, it comes out almost smack dab between the two foundation vents, but offset a little off center to the right. Anyway, 3-inch ABS clean out. We're going to check the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. Water is running, and we're going to zero the foot counter out here at the base of the clean out. This is a clean out. I would suggest putting a riser on. It's not the worst thing in the world to have to get to. That really did not take me too long to get that brick pulled out of there. Oh, real quick, line swapping over to 4-inch here, 4-inch pipe right out of the gate. What's sketchy about it is how far down below the surface of it is, and what it's surrounded by nothing but sand and fine gravel. So if you don't dig this thing out really effectively, I mean, it's still making me nervous just running the camera through here. It does not take very much vibration at all to get some of this stuff to bust loose. You just don't want to end up with rocks and junk in your pipe if you can help it. Anyway, that's one of those locations there, you know, depending on your tolerance for things like a valve cover box at the front of your house. This is one of those spots, and I'll show you what I'm talking about here when they pull the camera out, but this would be a good location to maybe take a Sawzall or a Dremel tool and cut part of this little plastic framing out that frames in the brickwork, and maybe put like a little valve cover box around it or something just to help protect it and, you know, one, make it very accessible, but two, in the event you ever have to open it, whether it's to scope the line or to, if you get, you know, kid flushes a rag down the toilet, you got a clogged line, you don't have to worry about other stuff falling into it at the same time. No, we just transitioned there over to 6-inch concrete. Thus far, nice looking sewer line. The concrete pipes and stuff I'll give a much closer look at as we come out. Of the two pipe materials, concrete, it has a little bit more finite existence than plastic pipe does. Concrete has a wear life on it, where plastic, we honestly haven't seen ABS in the ground long enough to see what it's going to look like 60, 70 years down the road yet. But concrete, you know, it's just a pipe material I like to look a little closer at once it's drained out. So as far as flow goes though, good slope and grade, good flow all the way out to the main here. At 61 feet we hit the main. So we're going to kill the water here, let the line drain out. We're going to also go locate, then we'll pull back here and take a good look at the concrete pipe. You know, anything going on with the concrete pipe as it sits right now would be nothing that's really affecting functionality. There's a little bit of toilet paper in it, but it also looks like balled up toilet paper. We're looking in pretty good shape here at the moment. Alright, located the camera head successfully. Line terminates out on Southwest Serena here. Street right in front. Where I picked that locate up in the street, in case you're curious where the line's at, it kind of jaunts toward the driveway. You've got some brickwork that runs up the right side of the driveway. Where I'm lined up with right now is right where that brickwork meets up with the grass, the front yard. That's what my camera's my locate lines up with at the moment. So it kind of heads that direction, but it looks like it turns and shoots off and out through something other than the driveway at least. Which is ideal if you ever have to do a repair, or at least pulling up pavers and not tearing concrete out. And that leads to my next bit here. With the advent of trenchless epoxy liner systems, although this one would probably require you install a 4-inch clean out access, about a foot or two into the sewer line is all. The reason I say that though is what wears out first with concrete pipe, one of the first things that starts to wear out is just the joints in general. They're grouted shut, and that grout over time, you know, there's usually a point in time where the grout starts to fail. You know, and it behooves you to keep an eye on these older lines. When you start seeing obvious amounts of groundwater seeping into the sewer line, if you see earthworms crawling around the pipe, stuff like that, dirt clods sticking to the pipe joint, obvious stuff, that's when you want to start looking into the prospect of that kind of repair process if you want to go trenchless And that's if you're here long enough to actually see that process take place. If this is going to be a forever home, you're out for the next 20, 30 years, I would suggest rescoping it every couple of years to keep an eye on things. You can catch stuff before it gets too far gone. And the biggest reason I say that is due to settling issues. I've got a lot of lines these days, you know, that are, this one not quite so much, but when they start to get on the older end, when those joints open up, it often leads to slow but sure settling. Hydro erosion. Dirt will start getting pulled through the joints and it erodes the support out underneath the line. Once your line settles bad enough, you lose the ability to do that trenchless repair system. So it's just a good idea to help take advantage of that if you're here to see that repair process actually take place. Saves a lot of money not cutting into the road. That day is not today, and it doesn't look like it's anytime in the immediate future here. The only thing that would be affecting this sewer line at this point would be environmental factors, short of just simply waiting for materials to wear out. Root intrusions, things you can't predict. Anyway, if you ever had to do that, you'd have to dig out here and put a clean out in right here at the transition. But again, that's looking down the road. I like people to have an idea for now and in the future. Just flipped around, we're not going backwards. There, right there, we go through the foundation wall. This is back inside the house now. Everything from that point forward is exposed piping. That's stuff the home inspector looks at in the crawl space. Whoever's been living here has done a fantastic job of keeping this thing clean. There is not a speck of grease buildup anywhere in it. And I'm a big stickler on grease. It is a huge contributing factor to a lot of blockages out there. Cooking oil, grease, fats in general, you want to keep them from going down your kitchen sink drain, and you can keep your line looking clean like that for a long time. But it also hugely helps to mitigate blockages from occurring, especially if you have little ones in the household that still haven't learned how to fold their toilet paper and they like to wad it up like a softball. Grease buildup, I have found over the years, is often one of the most major contributing factors to blockages occurring. Makes your line sticky, and it just causes junk that would otherwise make its way out to get hung up in the line. So you have a beautifully functioning sewer line as it sits here today. Great flow end to end. All the ABS pipe is in good condition. All the concrete pipe's in good condition for its age. Good flow end to end. The only thing I've seen in the line is a few scraps of toilet paper. Some of them are larger wads of toilet paper. They just don't travel through the line quite as nicely, but they're not at risk of doing anything. So, nicely functioning sewer line. I would just keep an eye on it, rescope it maybe every 2-3 years, something like that, just to keep an eye on the condition of the line.